Seems like you guys are finished. These are for the people who are watching online if you're looking for notes. Okay, so let's start with number 1. What exclusive statement did Jesus make? Especially about salvation.
No one can come to the Father except through me.
Okay, no one could come to the Father except through me. Okay, and we saw that in John 14. So we said, is Jesus' teaching exclusive? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? And then we talked about how is every worldview exclusive?
All the other religions saying that they have the truth.
Okay, so every religion, they have some kind of truth that they claim. Okay? So because of that, they're exclusive to anybody who disagrees with them. Exactly. How about some examples?
Example.
I mean, they have their own ideas of heaven and nirvana and stuff.
So the Islam, they have to believe that Muhammad is a prophet.
That's right. Okay, that's one of them. Any other specific examples that you guys have?
Buddhism, you must detach from all things.
Right. Okay. Yeah. In Buddhism, you must detach from all things. Good. Those are good. Okay. So why isn't Jesus' statement, "No one can come to the Father except through me," not an arrogant statement? Although a lot of people think that would be an arrogant statement. Why isn't that an arrogant statement?
Because it's stating a fact.
Yeah, he's stating a fact about himself. Okay. So it's not arrogant. He's just telling the truth. Of course, if he's not God, then that's very arrogant. D, according to the Bible, what will happen to people who have never heard of Jesus?
You brought up the Romans chapter 1.
Okay, Romans chapter 1. Okay.
Oh, man, I can't remember the
That's like he will show them through nature.
Right,
By
right.
nature, yeah.
So the question itself is actually, in some sense, not correct. Everybody will have a chance. Well, they might not hear the name Jesus, but they will have a chance to actually experience God somehow and make a decision. Yeah, very good. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some opener questions for you guys to discuss. Today we're going to be talking about some prophecies in the Bible. So let's talk about this. So these are the different questions. I'll give you guys about 5 minutes.
Judaism. What's the main difference between Judaism and Christianity?
That's so funny.
What do you know about the Judaism?
They only go by Old Testament. They don't believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Actually came yet. So
So
the main difference between Christianity and Judaism.
they're still waiting for Messiah.
Fortune telling, horoscope, and blood type. I've done tarot cards just for fun. You believe this?
It's like, oh, how do they know, right?
You're gonna move soon, and I'll be like,
For that, like in the teaching, it's like they may guess something like, is it biblical? Why not?
oh, really?
I think it is biblical.
Oh, like that they can
I
get
have
something.
no
right?
idea. Actually, I can't tell.
Wow. Definitely. Satan knows a lot more than we think, and then he cannot predict 100%, but he can guess. He can guess through those fortune tellers and the people, and then people will tell us,
No, they're not moving. Oh.
and sometimes I'm not 100% sure, but Satan has a power to get involved. Like he says something and then make it happen. Oh, fun. So that's why I believe that biblical. It doesn't mean that we need to believe that, but definitely not, right? Because God gave us a free will.
This generation of our kids really listen to the signs and horoscopes and stuff like that. Yeah, my assistants were telling me, download this app and you can look at every day your fortune and stuff. I was like,
What is
zodiac. Like Aquarius,
Oh, okay.
그래서 근데 요새 애들아 맞아. They're so into it. So my assistants were telling me if you download it so you can look at how He's downloading it.
That's how you like certain personality.
Yeah.
I think I'm 천여자지.
How many different
I
blood
don't
types
know
are there?
mine.
There's
I
no
can
really?
never remember.
Yeah.
사자자. Oh,
There's
I
really?
mean,
A.
what's the point to get a certain?
Oh.
난
No,
천여-
no,
난
no.
천여자가
How many
아니야.
is there? 80?
There's also AB.
So
Does it
that's
count
not
like
the
plus or
exact.
minus?
Yeah, there's different types as well.
So like those fortune telling
I'm
stuff.
사자.
So how many varieties are there?
And some people in like Asia, they try to tell the future according to their birthday and then time. So my question is that like there's tons of people who were born at the same time, right? Same hour, right? And they
Hi, Joseph.
but they may have
Did
different
they not
time.
check,
They
like,
want to
what
talk
blood
about that,
draws?
like what time they were
Do
born,
I,
not
would
only
I
the
get it
date.
by medical opinion?
Yes, but even the same time, you know, they have
The doctor.
totally
you do it when
different,
you,
like you know,
you do it
lifestyle
when you,
or
don't use
like way they live it. So that's not right.
And they're born in the same time.
How about
We live a very different life.
Um,
So you believe in prophecies, why or why not?
Yeah.
like Daniel, Revelation, and other prophecies in the Bible.
Biblical prophecies? Yeah, because some of them actually have come true.
Yeah, that's the reason that I believe in the Bible. It came true. He foretold, God foretold us, like, you know, maybe 100, 115 years before, and then it came true. So that's why. 야해, 옷을 똑바로 입어야지.
푸시홀더, 푸시홀더. 원쇼더. He's fashionable.
You should, dude. It's
You have one of the rare blood type.
Oh, really?
Third most rare.
Okay.
Only 3 points.
Okay, hopefully we'll be able to answer at least 1 and 2 for you guys, and then we'll also talk about some prophecies as well. All right. So we're going to be talking about Adam and Eve really quickly. Actually, for the sermon, I'm going to be talking about Adam and Eve as well. So I didn't plan it, but it kind of worked out. Okay, so you guys kind of know the story. So what happened? So Eve was tempted by the serpent, and then so even though she was not supposed to eat the fruit, she eats it, and then she shares it with her husband. And then after that, they both realize that they're naked. And then they start to feel shame for the first time. All right. And then after all of this, I'm gonna go into this a lot more in the sermon. But after all of this, this is what happens. Kevin, if you could read this for us.
The Lord God said to the serpent, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys know, okay, but many scholars believe this is the first prophecy, okay, in the Bible. Okay, so number 2, many scholars believe that Genesis 3:14 to 15 right here, this is the first prophecy in the Bible. And what is this prophecy saying? So he says, someone will come from Eve's offspring, and he shall bruise your head, the serpent. Okay, and there's going to be fight between Eve's offspring and your offspring. So fight against good and evil. And then he will bruise your head, and then you shall bruise his heel. Okay? And so in the Old Testament, they say whoever is going to come and destroy Satan is going to be what they call the Messiah. Okay? So they believe that this is the first prophecy that it shows about the Messiah. Okay. I'm going to give you another example of Messiah within the Old Testament. Do you guys remember during Jesus' birth, kings from the east, they come and visit him. This is a story about that. Tracy?
Behold, wise men for the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where Christ was to be born.
Okay, so do you guys see what's going on? Wise men come from the east, and they said to Herod, they said, oh, okay, where's the king? Well, Herod's the king. So that's not what they mean, right? They mean the Messiah. Okay, because they saw a special star. And they asked him, where is it? Okay, so what does King Herod do? He says, hey, let's call the scribes, the people who know the Old Testament. And then where is Christ, Messiah, is supposed to be born? So again, they're looking at prophecy once again. Joshua, if you could read the next paragraph for us.
Behold, wise men from the east came.
Second paragraph.
They told him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet, and you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd the people Israel.
Okay. So they're reading from the Old Testament right here. This is from Micah chapter 5. And then right there it says Bethlehem of Judea. That's where the Messiah is supposed to be born. Okay. So really quickly, just with partner people next to you guys, what Messianic prophecies do you know from the Old Testament? What are some of the Messianic prophecies that you know?
Basically, he's coming from David's family, or no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then the first one that he mentioned is I think chapter 3, and he talked about the offspring of woman. You know, in the Bible, when they talk about, they usually only man's side, right? But Jesus is, according to the Bible, Jesus is the only human that is not related to the man. So that's right. And then another the Bethlehem. What else? I mean, in Book of Isaiah, there are many prophecies of the Messiah. I can't think of the specific one right now. Oh, it talks about who will be crucified in Isaiah. Yeah.
From the Old Testament, right?
And what else?
Ezekiel.
In the Bible.
Like he always foreshadows.
Nothing in Ezekiel.
That's why like people
What?
Nothing in Ezekiel.
Ezekiel?
I think I read something on this. Wild guess.
Ezekiel. Offspring of David, yeah, that's what someone said. David. Define.
Okay, so let's come back together. So today we're going to actually look at some of the Messianic prophecies. First one, there's about 48 prophecies, but it's up to debate depending on which scholar you talk to. Okay, so that's number 4. There's about 48 prophecies, but depending on which scholar you talk to, some could say up to 128. Let's talk about the 4 different types of Messianic prophecy. First one is the birth. How will he be born? Okay, so we actually know that the Messiah will be born of a virgin, and we even know the location, just like what we talked about before. Okay, with Micah, and then the virgin birth we know because of Isaiah. So we know where he's supposed to be born. We also know I think a lot of you guys mentioned this, his ancestry as well. He must be descendant of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, tribe of Judah, and specifically from David. Okay, all of this is mentioned in Genesis and Jeremiah as well. Okay, so that narrows down, again, a lot of people. Next one is his life and death. Okay, so we know what kind of life he's going to have and what kind of death he's going to experience. We know that he's going to be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. His death, his resurrection. We know that his leg was not going to be broken. His clothes will be divided. And all of this is written in Psalms and Isaiah as well. And also some other things are Isaiah talks a lot about how he's going to be rejected, and people are going to see great things, but at the same time they're going to reject him and things like that as well. Okay, and the last type is going to be the timeline of his coming. Okay? We know for sure that it had to be before the temple is destroyed in 70 AD. Okay, because he's the one who's going to fulfill the temple. So that's written in Haggai and Malachi and Daniel. I forgot what chapter it is. But Daniel does a very good job of actually setting the timeline as well of when Jesus is going to come. Okay? So once again, these are the 4 different types. When is he going to be born? What kind of ancestry? What's going to happen in his life? And then what's kind of like the timeline of when he's going to come. Okay, let me give you guys some more. I already gave you guys some examples. Let me give you more examples of some of the prophecies. That's the same slide. Okay, so number 1, scepter will not depart from Judah. So again, what is this one about? It's about ancestry. Okay. A shoot will come from the stump of Jesse. Do you know who Jesse is? Jesse is the father of David. So again, it's talking about how it's line of Judah, but specific family is going to be through Jesse. Okay, again, another example, he will rise from David's line. Okay. When Israel was a child, God loved him and called his son out of Egypt. Okay, so this is an example again of how Jesus actually went to Egypt as well. Next one, I will also make you a light for the Gentiles so that you may bring my salvation to the end of the world, end of the earth. So it's talking not only is he reaching out to the Jewish people, but he is very inclusive in that. And then you guys know this one, he's going to ride on a gentle, riding on a donkey. Okay, and then we talked about how both Haggai and Malachi talks about how Messiah will come and fill the temple, but the second temple was destroyed in AD 70, so it had to be before AD 70. Okay, that's really the big difference between Judaism and Christianity then. Okay, Jewish people, they believe in all of these things. They believe in all of this, as well as Christians as well. But the big difference is Jewish people say, or Christians say what? Jesus is the one who fulfilled all the prophecies. Okay, Jesus is that person. And then the Jewish people say, no. Jesus was not that person. So we're still waiting for a Messiah. That's the big major differences. Okay, so once again, who is Jesus? According to Christians, they would say he is...
The Son of God.
He's the Son of God. He actually himself is God. How about Islam? What would they say about Jesus?
Prophet.
He's not God, but just prophet. How about Judaism then? What would they say about Jesus?
Crazy man.
What would they say?
Crazy man.
Yeah, what was that?
Crazy man.
Crazy. Yeah, he's a false prophet. He's either a lunatic or a false prophet. Okay. So if anything, Judaism, they really don't like Christians. Not like on a personal level, but as far as a religion goes. Because they totally disagree with identity. Whereas Islam, they could say, okay, you guys are wrong, but at least we like Jesus. Okay? Whereas Jewish people, Judaism, they would say, no. He's not even a good teacher. He's a false prophet. He's leading people away from the real truth. Okay? Let me give you some examples of... I gave you guys this example before, but let me show it to you again. Do you guys know what Talmud is? Talmud is just religious writings compiled by the Jewish teachers, okay? So, okay, I'm done talking. Joseph, if you could read the next one for us.
It is not actually stated, but since it is written, bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, it follows that Jesus was 33 or 34 years old.
Okay, so what are they saying here? They're saying, hey, if you lie, your life is going to be short. And on top of that, and then what do they say? It follows Jesus was only 33. So what are they saying? They're saying, do you know why Jesus died so fast? Because he was a liar. Okay, next. They say Jesus was executed because he practiced sorcery. Jesus is being boiled in hot excrement. Do you know what excrement is?
Yeah.
It's poop. Okay, he's being boiled there. Again, they don't have a very good picture of Jesus. Hannah, if you don't mind, can you read this next one?
On the eve of the Passover, Jesus was hanged. Do you suppose that he was one for whom a defense could be made? Was he not an innocent?
Okay, so again, they're like, he died as a criminal. Okay, what more is there? He's a liar, so that's why he's hanging there. You see? Okay. And then Lysia?
Christians and others who reject the Talmud will go to hell and be punished there for all generations. Those who read the New Testament will have no portion in the world to come.
Okay. So again, at least from Talmud's perspective, are they pro-Christian?
Oh no.
Absolutely not. Okay. If anything, they're very, very against Christianity. Okay, which makes sense, right? Because they believe that Jesus is not a true prophet. And so, for example, if another church came and said, like another person came in and said, "Hey, I'm the new Messiah," the Christian church would be like, "What are you guys doing? You guys are false people." Okay, Okay, so they that's why they don't like it. All right, so why is it that we read the same Bible? Okay, we read the same Old Testament, Christians and Jewish people. What are some of the reasons why they reject it? Okay, so let's go over it. Okay, here are 4 different objections that some Jewish people would bring up, and so we're going to go over the objections together. Does that make sense? Objection number 1 is coincidence argument. So basically, their argument is, no. Jesus didn't fulfill all the prophecies. Just some of them, he coincidentally just fulfilled them. Okay, so it was a coincidence. Okay? So they believe that he didn't fulfill all of the prophecies, but they also agree that there's definitely some that he has fulfilled, but it just happened by chance. Okay? So because somebody said this, there was a mathematician who actually calculated the odds of this. Okay, it's 1 out of 7, whatever that number is. Okay, 100 million billion, or whatever that number is. Okay, so somebody give an example of this. Okay, so let's say all of us, we have our $100 bill, and let's say I sign this $100 bill. Okay, and I'm gonna have to try to find this $100 bill. Okay, this is $100. This is $10,000. Okay, so a wad of 100. This is $1 million. Okay, this is $100 million. This is $100 billion. This is $1 trillion. Okay, this is only not only, but this number right here that we're working with is much bigger than 1 trillion. Okay, I don't know what this number is, but there's no number for it. That's why they just put a bunch of just zeros, this in the back. Okay, so just 1 trillion. It's like trying to find my $100 bill that I signed from here in one try. That's like the same thing. Okay, so is that possible? It's possible, but is it probable? No. Okay, so for them to say, oh, it's just a coincidence that Jesus happened to fulfill all of these prophecies, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, number 2, gospel alteration argument. Okay, so the basic argument is Jesus didn't fulfill them, but the disciples who were writing the gospels, they changed some of the facts. So Jesus was not born in Bethlehem, but they said, oh, there's the prophecy about Bethlehem. And then Jesus didn't ride a donkey. He actually rode a horse. But, there's a prophecy about donkey. So the disciples, they alternated the gospel, and they made it into this. Okay? But this one should be easy, right? Because we actually already went over this. We said, okay, what benefits do they get from lying? Like, I talk about this many times, but like Christians today, you could lie about something, you could write a book, you could write a song, and make a lot of money. But for the disciples back then, what benefits did they get? They got zero benefit. They all died. And we talked about how the different ways. Last time I gave you guys like a text chart, but this is like a more fancier chart. And basically all of them either got crucified, tortured, away from their family, and they all died, basically. They all got martyred for their faith. Okay? So again, why would they change? Why would they lie and then change about Jesus? What are they going to get from it? What benefit would they get? Number three, it's called intentional fulfillment argument. So Jesus studied what? He studied the Old Testament. So he knew all the prophecies. So he intentionally rode a donkey. He intentionally went to these different places. Okay, he intentionally got crucified. Okay, why doesn't this one work? Why doesn't this? It works on some of them, but the problem is.
No reason to die.
What was that?
No reason to die on a cross.
No, I mean,
For life.
so like, why would you? I mean, unless you're like literally crazy, why would you die for a lie? Okay, that's a good example. Okay, other ones are.
How can he plan his own birth?
Yeah, how can you plan? You can't choose your own ancestry. Okay, there's a lot of things. Yeah, there's some prophecies you can change. You could try to fit in, but there's a lot more prophecies that you actually cannot. Like, how can you control Judas to pay 30 pieces of gold, get 30 pieces of gold, or silver? Sorry. So it's like there's a lot of things out of his control that he could not have intentionally fulfilled. Okay, so again, some of these are possible, but most are impossible. So number 1, 2, and 3, these examples are pretty weak in itself. But the fourth one is actually a little strong. Okay? So it's called the peace and ruler on earth argument. Basically, if you read Zechariah and some other places, it says that when Messiah comes, there will be peace on earth. They will gather all the Jewish people together. There will be no more pain and then no more suffering. Okay? Now, is the Messiah here? Or Messiah already came? Well, Christians believe Messiah is already here. Is there peace on earth? Absolutely not. Are all the Jewish gathered together? No, they're all scattered. No more pain and suffering? No, still pain and suffering. A lot of pain and suffering still. Okay, so Jewish people, this is one of the to-go arguments against Jesus. Read Zechariah. It says here, no more pain, no more suffering. There's going to be peace on the earth, but none of these things have happened. Okay? Now, the counter argument to this is even though these things have not fulfilled when Jesus was here the first time, Jesus actually promised that it will happen again when he comes the second time. Okay, so here's an example of this. Trudy, if you could read the first paragraph.
Then John saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Okay, next one, 정은.
And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with men. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more, neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away.
Okay, So again, this totally fulfills Zacharias' prophecy. Okay, so basically Christians say, oh, you see, you guys look at this, and Jewish people say, oh, it hasn't been fulfilled when Jesus came the first time, and the Christians just say, no, it will be fulfilled when Jesus comes the second time. Okay? Okay, and so we definitely see that when Jesus does come back, there will be peace, there will be no more suffering, and that he actually wants to be with us. Okay? Okay, so again, if you look at all the different prophecies, we know that Jesus actually fulfills the specific 48 prophecy, all of them. Okay? But these are some of the reasons why, specifically the last one, why the Jewish people actually do not believe. All right. Why don't we go into discussion questions, and then we'll end. Oh, let me change number 3. Okay, so go for it. Here's some discussion questions.